All right, so this is Learn Target 1 and 2 for quadratics. This is going to split up into 2 packets, kind of like the last one, 2 separate tests and all of that. All right, so listen to what I say, then pause, write it down, all that jazz. So like terms that have the same variables raised to the same exponent power, you can add or subtract them, and that's called the combining like terms. So if I had like, eraser. If I had like 3x squared and 7x squared, they both have the same variable raised to the same exponent power, so I could add or subtract their coefficients. So if I were to add them, I would get 10x squared, and if I were to subtract this, I would get negative 4x squared. If I had like 7x squared and 9x cubed, I couldn't do anything because their variables are two different powers. A polynomial is an expression consisting of variables and coefficients that involves either addition or subtraction. So polynomials would be like right below this are polynomials. So like 3x squared minus 2x plus 7x squared plus 5x. The only terms inside and in between are addition and subtraction. And we just follow what it says, and we'll practice that next. All right, so adding and subtracting polynomials. The first thing, adding is a lot easier than subtracting, but for both of them, I like to make sure that they both have all the same terms. This has an x squared, this has an x squared. This has an x, this has an x. This is just a number or a coefficient. This is just a number. So they're the same. So then what I do next is I combine the things that are the same. So it's telling me to take this x squared and add it with this x squared. So if I do that, 5 plus this 8 would give me that 13, and I still have x squared. Then I can go to my next number, which is negative 3x plus positive 10x. So negative 3 plus a positive 10 is a positive 7x. And then do that same thing for the last one. 7 plus negative 25. Let me get my pen. And that would be a negative 18. Down here, let's make sure we have the same terms. I have an x cubed, I have an x cubed. I have an x, I have an x squared over here. So I'm going to rewrite this to say this, 8x cubed plus, I don't have an x squared, so I'm going to write it as 0x squared. 4x, there's my x, so I'm going to keep my 4x. Number, there we go, so plus 10. Minus, and then this is the same thing. So I rewrote this to have the same amount of terms over here, so that way I don't forget anything. And now I'm doing the same thing as above, except now it's subtraction. And this is where it gets a little tricky, because you have to carry over like your negative symbols. So let's look. I have an x cubed here, and I have an x cubed here, and it's telling me to minus. So that means I'm going to do 8 minus 7, giving me 1, or just x cubed. Now I'm going to look at my 0. So I have 0x minus 3x. So 0 minus 3 gives me negative 3, and I still have x squared. Blue. Now I have 4x minus negative 15. So let me write that down. 4x minus negative 15x. These are going to become a positive, which makes this 19x. So that's why this gets a little difficult with the minus, because you're giving that minus to everything. And then last, we would have this positive 10 minus a negative 30. So that's the same thing as before. Positive 10 minus a negative 30. These will become a plus, so plus 40. All right, multiplying polynomials is just distributing. So I'm taking this and multiplying it by everything in there. Just a little quick note, when I multiply exponents, so if I have x times x, that's going to be x squared. If I have x squared times x, that's going to be x cubed. All I'm doing is adding the exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. This would be a 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So if I had x squared times x to the third, 2 plus 3, x to the fifth. So here, 5x times x would be 5x squared. 5x times negative 7, negative 35x. Take this to everything. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times positive 7x is positive 21x. 3 times minus 10, or Negative 10 is negative 30. All right, so I'm going to write this over here, what FOIL stand for. F is for first. O is for outside. I is for inside. L is for last, and we'll practice this more in class. So I'm going to go in order. F means first, so I take this first number and I multiply it by this first number, and it's always times. So x times x is x squared. I did my F. So if I write, I did F. O, outside. This outside one, hold on, let me erase this. Now I'm getting confused. So, erase. All right, so let me just start over. So, oh my God, Mimeo. Okay, first times first, and I'm going to show you this better in class because I like to use my finger. What I like to do is I like to pretend that this isn't even here. Like I would. Why is this being poopy? I would cover this one up first and just deal with this first x. So that's what I mean by this. So this number times that first number is x squared. Let me put that back there. And then this number times the outside. They're both outsides now. X times positive 9 is 9x. And now I'm done. So now I cover this one up and I use this one. Or I'm on I, inside. This one times this one, negative 7 times x is negative 7x. And then last, this is the last one in this term, and this is the last one in this term. Negative 7 times positive 9 is negative 63. Now I just combine my like terms. So I'll still have an x squared. Positive 9x minus 7x is plus 2x, and I still have a minus 63. And that would be my FOIL method. So down here, first I'll do it with FOIL, and then I'll explain with my cover-up. So if I'm going by FOIL, this is going to be this first term. Oops, why am I not in pen? This first, my golly gosh darn it. This, why is it doing this? This first term times that first term, x times x is x squared. Outside, here's the outside term times this outside term. X times 1 is just x. Inside, this is the inside and this is the inside. Negative 10 times x is negative 10x. Last, this is the last term times this last term, which gives me negative 10. Combine my like terms. I would get x squared minus 9x minus 10 as a final answer. If I was doing this as my cover-up method, so I'm going to write this x minus 10 times x plus 1. I would pretend that this isn't even here, and I would distribute this x. So x times 1 is x squared. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. And then I would switch it, so I had x minus 10. I just did this one. I'll cover this up and distribute my negative 10. So negative 10 times x is negative 10x. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. So you can either remember FOIL or just double distributing. Distribute the first number, distribute the second number.
Denise Roth to the opposite.
So how would you FOIL to simplify this term, x plus 4 parentheses squared? I don't have a story right now. I'm actually running late. I'm trying to grade your paper, so I'll try and get you a different story at a different time. Sorry, guys.